Hey, listeners, I'm so glad that you stuck around to listen to the interview I did with Kevin Nygaard in regards to the Nonprofit of the Month Spotlight. This month, it is the Miracle League. I think there's a lot of dads out there, especially dads of kids with special needs, who, when they get the diagnosis, feel this grief for the loss of things to come. And one of them oftentimes is the loss of the fact that their son or daughter may never play sports. And so the Miracle League helps families with that. And I wanted to spotlight it this month. This is kind of a 2-for because as the Miracle League is doing their work, Kevin is doing a side fundraiser with a nonprofit entitled Wanna Have a Catch. So we're going to give you a 2-for this month and just sit back and learn about the Miracle League and what our listeners could do to help support that or get involved with it with your own family. Listeners, we're going to go ahead and have a little bit of chat with Kevin Nygaard. Kevin and I have been friends since the mid-90s. We were co-workers, and he has been involved in recent years in a project that has been near and dear to my heart, and I know to the community of Sioux City's heart. And it's not just a Sioux City thing, so we'll talk about it from a national level. But Kevin, first off, welcome. And if you could, talk to the listeners about what is Miracle League?
Yeah, well, thank you, Tim, for the opportunity to share. Miracle League is an international not-for-profit that was created in 2000, and it was a gentleman who was at a Little League baseball game and saw a young guy in a wheelchair, and he couldn't play because it was a dirt field, couldn't get around. And so he said, something's got to change, and so he started the Miracle League Foundation, and sole mission is every child deserves a chance to play baseball.
Love that mission.
Yep, and very simple and just straightforward. And so it is building rubber surface baseball fields where everything's painted into it to remove any trip hazards and really make baseball accessible to everybody. And so
now the mission, every child has the right to play baseball, but it's not just for kids.
No, it's different leagues are different across the country, but ours is any age can play. And so our youngest player is 3 and our oldest is 78.
That is awesome. So tell us about the local first, and just kind of what is going on here in Sioux City. Talk about what you've done. I know, again, you have here in Sioux City some stuff to brag about our Miracle League field in comparison to others internationally. So what's happened here, and what have you done to make it happen?
Yeah, well, in 2013, I heard Bob Goff speak, and his talk was entitled Love Does, and I took it as shut up, quit talking, and do something. And so I'm pretty passionate about people with disabilities in baseball, and this was a really good way for me to bring those two passions together. So in 2014, we got our 501c3 with the goal of raising $400,000 and build a baseball field. Our community's been unbelievable, businesses and individuals, and so we had that money raised right away. So by September of 2015, when we opened, we had a $1.2 million facility with a baseball field, a playground, a walking park, and the restroom concession facility. And by December of 2015, we were debt-free.
Wow.
And there was still a whole bunch of people I hadn't talked to yet that had resources that could help us out. And so it's just grown from that to today, where we're a $4 million complex, 2 splash pads, 2 playgrounds, an accessible mini golf course, a bocce ball court, a music park, a swing park, and then 2 fields. And so, again, and by the end of this year, we'll be debt-free once again. And so just incredible community support has allowed us to continue to build these facilities that are designed for people with disabilities, but open to the general public.
Yeah. So most Miracle Leagues have 1 field. We have 2. Right?
Yeah.
So talk about the community partnership that comes with having that second field as well.
Yeah. So in 2020 and 2021, during COVID, we had 2 entities step forward, the Sioux City Musketeers and Callahan's Liquor in Dublin Smokehouse. And together they raised about $60,000.
Wow.
And we didn't have a project. We were debt free. And they kept saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to, like, I don't know. But the one thing we heard from parents is if we had two fields, there'd be much more social interaction between games of their friends. Otherwise, on one field, if you play an early and late, you don't see your friends. And so that was really the impetus of let's look into this. But you can't put $600,000 into a field that's going to be used 4 hours a week.
Right.
And so we partnered with the Arena Sports Academy in town, who's really good at running athletic events for youth, and decided we're going to build a 200-foot field, and we're going to have field turf that is what college and professional teams are using. So, we have Heelan softball, Morningside softball uses it. A number of travel baseball and softball teams used it this past year. And then obviously we're the priority when we need it. And so it's a community field. We're so excited about it. It's bringing people together, and we had a youth tournament where we got to play a Miracle League game during that tournament. So just, again, exposing people who normally wouldn't be out there, wouldn't know anything about it, but to what we're able to do. And so it's just been a really cool relationship, breaking down barriers, again, in a really natural way. And that was, we were always super intentional about excellence. Way too young when I was working in group homes, and then with my sister, you heard it's good enough for them.
Right.
And none of us want that for any of our children. And so we're going to do this with excellence. And I think when you go out to the park, you see that. And the second thing is integration. We wanted to create really natural integrated settings for people with disabilities and people without. And I think that when you go out there and you see the interaction and you see all the people out there, it's all socioeconomic backgrounds, it's all abilities, it's all colors, it's all backgrounds. And so I think we're accomplishing our goals.
Yeah. So talk about the complex part, because for the listeners, my son Tyler played in the Miracle League upon its inception. And one of the problems we had was we couldn't get him off the playground. And so he didn't want to play baseball. He wanted to be on the playground. So talk about kind of the other peripherals around that do that collective bringing the community together.
Yeah. So, we built this really nice playground. We use landscape structures out of Delano, Minnesota. Expensive, but really solid equipment. Yeah. And they work with child psychologists. And so they get an understanding of kids with all types of disabilities. If they have sensory issues, if they have Down, if they have autism, whatever it may be, they design playgrounds to reach every type of disability. So a kid can go out there and play. So we recognize pretty quickly that they're really busy and little kids are getting run over. Yeah. So then we built a toddler playground. Same thing with the splash pad. We had a splash pad. Kids were getting knocked down, so now we have a toddler splash pad. We have the music park that they can, but everything is a single entry and then exit. So parents don't have to chase their kids all the way around. They can just stay at the entrance and then let their kids play, and then they can only exit this one area.
And there's concessions.
There's concessions
on game days and for special events.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So, and so we have that ability, and for people to come in who want to rent the facility for a picnic or whatever the case may be, they have refrigeration and freezer access as well.
And you talk about it as an international entity, so I want to go a little wider than the Siouxland. So how many fields are there around the country, and how do they stay connected under one umbrella? Because I know we had an event here a couple years ago that was pretty amazing. And so talk about kind of the connection and what goes on in the Miracle League International.
Yeah, so I think there's, outside of the United States, I think there's 3 countries that have Miracle Leagues. So total, there's about 325 Miracle Leagues in the world. The largest Miracle League, as far as the different amenities that people have access to, is right here in Sioux City.
Right here in Sioux City.
And so we've had to change our mission statement from every child deserves a chance to play baseball to building recreational facilities and providing recreational opportunities done with excellence for people. Yeah. And so we've really expanded what we're doing there. We annually we have All-Star Celebration, where every Miracle League has an opportunity to send one of their players to some given spot for 2 days of baseball playing and just celebrating all people. And so we were really fortunate in 2019 to host the second ever International Miracle League All-Star Celebration right here in Sioux City, and incredible opportunity and
an amazing event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if there's somebody listening from somewhere in the country or maybe in the world, and they think, hey, I want that for my kid. My community doesn't have that. who and where can they contact? And we'll put whatever link there are on our website at lovebeingadad.com under our nonprofit spotlight page. But what if somebody's now saying, okay, I want that in my community? Where should they start?
Yeah, I think probably going to the National Miracle, and if you just Google Miracle League, one, it may pop up. There may be some in your area already that you're not aware of.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll take you to the national office, and Stephanie and Diane can help you there. And you can always reach out to me, and I can share our story.
Yep.
Every Miracle League has a different story. We've been unbelievably blessed by our community with finances. There's Miracle Leagues out there who fought for 5 and 6 and 7 years to try to raise enough money just to build their field, and our story is different. It's not better. It's just different.
It's different. And again, I want to kind of go then, what is the future right now? So if I've got listeners who say, hey, I don't really have anything here, but man, I want to give to this. It sounds like they're doing great things for people and opportunity. And we'll have all your pages and giving pages on our website. But what is in development? I mean, you're still doing fundraising. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. And I know you just had an event again with Callahan's and Dublin Smokehouse last week. So you're still raising the money. What are people going to be donating to when it comes to the future?
Yeah. So our big, I think, in reflecting back over the last, 8-9 years of this thought and dream becoming reality, I think we probably grew too fast in the facility that we had because we were a volunteer organization up until the last couple of years, and then we just have a part-time person, and so we haven't been able to get the word out into schools and human service agencies and letting people know about what we have and what we can do. So the current campaign of Want to Have a Catch is raising money to either hire a full-time executive director, or what we ultimately have chosen is a management agreement with the Arena Sports Academy and Hesse Foundation. Within that, then, we get more than just an executive director. We get their access to registration, to graphic design, to marketing, da-da-da-da-da. And so we're super excited about that opportunity. And so, the funds now are going to administration costs.
To help it grow, develop, and get the word out. And again, that's why I wanted to do this as my first spotlight to help you with that. And you mentioned it, but that's where I want to transition to. You've got kind of this separate but kind of not thing going on with Want to Have a Catch. Let's talk about that a little bit. What was the inspiration for Want to Have a Catch? And then talk to the listener about what that means, what you're doing with Want to Have a Catch.
Yeah. So in February of 2021, my wife and I were supposed to go to Tanzania. Couldn't go because of COVID, so we did the next best thing and went to Branson, Missouri, which we're the only people who go to Branson, Missouri in February. But God had his hand on it, and I picked up a book by Ethan Bryan called A Year of Playing Catch. And Ethan is a professional writer who loves baseball, and in 2018, he decided to play catch every day for a year and just chronicle that experience. And so I talked to him, got his approval, and I was like, I can do this because I have a pretty flexible job. My kids are out of the house. And on January 18 of 2022 was my 60th birthday. So I started playing catch that day with the goal of playing catch every day for a year and raising $100,000 for the Miracle League, which would give us probably 2 years of monies to be able to pay for this management fee. And so today's day 225. Haven't missed a day. Played catch with almost 1,400 different people. So it's been an incredible experience of not only raising this money and playing catch, but being able to share about the Miracle League with people who knew nothing about it. And really just to remind people that it's really the simple things in life where we get a lot of the pleasure, most of our pleasure. And so just getting them back in touch with playing catch. And, of over the 1,300 people, no one's gone like, that was a terrible experience. I never want to do that again in my life. Everybody goes, why haven't I done this? This is what I did with a kid. And so there's been some really unique opportunities to bring people together again.
Yeah, and what a great idea. And I think, as a dad and as a podcast for dads, you forget how much connection you get in that time away from electronics, away from all the gaming, just out there. And whether it's with a baseball, football, soccer ball, that one-on-one time for a dad with his kids is just priceless. So how can the listeners help with Want to Have a Catch? Where are you at with your goal? And I know you and I have talked. You're smashing it. And so, what's the new kind of thing as we go forward? Again, I want to make sure that this is a great opportunity for the listeners who even may not have the ability to be local, but how can they help?
Yeah. So I would say, yes, we've done very well fundraising, and just like everything else we've done, this community has been really, really special. So we just topped the $150,000 mark. I think our goal is to raise $250,000 now. And so that would be really exciting. Just as important, I think, is getting a little bit a better understanding of the Miracle League and Want to Have a Catch. And so you can go to wantohaveacatch.org. You can read about us. You can sign up to play catch, and I will get that, and I'll call you, and we'll set up a time to be able to play catch. You do not have to pay to play catch.
Right.
Some people choose to, some people don't. Yep. And either way, they've been great experiences. I think one of the really cool things is, we've raised $150,000. We've never had a donor more than $5,000.
That's awesome.
So it's an incredible amount of people, which is what we want, is to get more and more people involved in it. So we're really thankful for that.
And I want to talk, I want to at least fill in the listener, because they can go to all your social media stuff with Want to Have a Catch, and they can find, I'm assuming, all that at wantohaveacatch.org. But this isn't just a Siouxland thing. I've watched you play catch in other countries. I've watched you play catch in an airport. I've watched you play catch with Ozzie Smith. I mean, and politicians and actors. So this is something that resonates outside to people, isn't it?
Yeah. It's been very interesting, because Ethan said when he wrote the book, he had a hard time finding people to play catch, and people weren't always supportive. Like, yeah, this is a cool idea for a 12-year-old, but what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, I've never experienced that. I haven't. There's a couple times I either forgot to schedule somebody, or somebody had to back out, and so I'll run to the townhouse, our local sports pub on the north side, and find somebody there. I'll go down on 4th Street, but for the most part, people have been really good about signing up. And then, I played catch in 4 countries thus far. I'll play in November. We'll add Israel to that.
That's awesome.
I think it's the small baseball world. It becomes so small because it's really been a part of almost everybody's life.
Yeah.
Either I played catch, I watched it, whatever the case. Right. And so these connections have given me opportunities to play catch with Ozzie Smith at Busch Stadium. And that guy, gave us an hour of his time. It was so kind and generous to go to Dan Gable's house and spend 3 to 4 hours with him, and him calling his grandchildren over to come play catch. These really, really neat experiences. But Ethan talked about the intimacy of playing catch. And I'm like, dude, you're a professional writer, because I've never heard baseball and intimacy together. But you get into it, and it's so true. Like, if I'm not focused on you, I'm going to get hit in the face potentially with the ball. And if there's any intentionality to the conversation, it can become somewhat intimate, you know. And so it's really played out that way, and it's been a really cool experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Kevin, thank you so much for your time. Again, listeners, you can find all the links to the Miracle League local here, the Miracle League nationally, and Want to Have a Catch on our website at lovebeingadad.com. And go out, support Kevin and the Miracle League and the folks that all the great work that they're doing. Thanks again, Kevin.
Thank you, Tim.
Love Being a Dad is a production of ATA Enhancement Services, all rights reserved.